Muntoye. 2 years into Governor Umaru Namadi's administration, Jigawa remains in the national spotlight. From the governor's ambitious rice production pledge to a supplementary 75 billion naira budget, from tanker explosions and water scarcity to controversies over luxury vehicle purchases and Hisba enforcement, Jigawa is often praised for its agricultural strength. Yet citizens are asking tough questions about transparency, social welfare, education, and the direction of governance. Today, on Beyond the Headlines, we sit with Governor Namadi to reflect on his midterm record, separating promises from delivery and confronting the issues shaping lives in Jigawa and Nigeria at large. Governor Namadi, welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you very much. Very good to have me here.
Absolutely. We're glad to host you as well. You've clocked over 2 years in office now. If you were to be judged strictly by results, what would you point to as the most visible impact of your leadership so far? And where do you admit you've fallen short?
Well, 2 years from now backward, I think is a journey of progress and also a lot of issues that has to be contended with. In fact, we have taken, when we came in with a 12-point agenda, and this 12-point agenda is deals with almost every sector that has to do with the development and progress of Jigawa State. And the 12-point agenda, the major stake is creating a greater Jigawa. And that is the journey we have embarked for the last 2 years. Looking back 2 years, I think we have every reason to thank God for what we have achieved in Jigawa State, both in the areas of economic activities, in the areas of human capital development, in the areas of infrastructure, and so many other things. If we can go, like if we take economic activities, agriculture is the mainstay of the Jigawa State economy. And so far, so good. Alhamdulillah, we have done so much in agriculture. The issue we have started with in agriculture, we try as much as possible to have an agricultural policy that will guide the operation of the government. And that agricultural policy we have been following consistently to ensure that we have achieved what we want to achieve. So far, so good. We have tried as much as possible to see how we can supply input to the farmers. And this we have done, and not only supplying the input, but also ensuring that this input reach to the targeted population, which is up, from the state up to the polling unit level. This we have done in the first attempt intervention we have done, and we have seen that that has helped to improve productivity. Yeah. Now we have to go ahead again and see how we can expand irrigation facilities to introduce irrigation, because Jigawa State is a pollutant-free state where every year in, year out there's, but we thank God for the last 2 years. I think we have we are able to get control over it with by the grace of God. So so we feel that we need to introduce irrigation, and then we, especially in the upland areas, we try as much as possible to bring in industrial borehole that will help us drive irrigation. And that has really helped to also bring in more land into productions. Again, we feel that, okay, irrigation, 70% of farming now goes to, is from irrigation. That is from dry season farming. So we try as much as possible also to see how we can expand. We have about 10 dams that are moribund in Jigawa State. We try as much as possible to see how we can improve those 10 dams. By improving those standards, about 4,500 hectares will be brought into production. And that is a very good achievement again. Now, also, we try as much as possible the Hadeja Valley, where we have about 28,000 hectares. The last administration of Muhammad Buhari has helped us to do 6,000 hectares for us. And the present administration also promised to do another 6,000 hectares for us. Also, we in collaboration with the Nigeria Agricultural Development Fund, now they have given a feasibility studies for another 6,000 hectares. That feasibility study will be able to invite private sector to come in. So with this, we will be able to bring in more land into production and expand the production in agriculture. Again,
allow me to jump in.
Yep.
I just wanted you to highlight the most important, because if you keep going, you're probably going to exhaust all the time, because I believe that you must have done quite a lot in the past 2 years. We'll get back to agriculture, the challenge of flooding and insecurity shortly, if we have the time. But you know, many Nigerians are worried about accountability in state spending. There's a 75 billion naira supplementary budget now that was recently approved by the House in Jigawa. What exactly will this money fund? How will it be financed? And how do you respond to fears that this widens Jigawa's debt exposure?
Well, we have done a budget of 698 billion, and then today again we have done another 75 billion. The 75 billion is made of 58 billion for the state and 17 billion for the local government. So virtually that is what it is. And this supplementary budget comes as a result of extra revenue that comes into the corpus of government, and that need to be appropriated. That is part of the transparency activity, because every spending, every expenditure must be appropriated. And that is why we have taken the supplementary budget. And the last time we have done the budget, this supplementary budget, about 77% of the budget is on capital. So only about 23 is recurrent expenditure. So this is to show how transparent the government is, and because of the transparency, that is why we are taking, appropriating the additional revenue, and we are taking it to the State House of Assembly. Our budget is a more transparent budget we are doing, and that is why our program for citizen engagement that we go to each local government, in addition to giving our scorecard for the last 2 years to the people, to the electorate, and we also have had an opportunity to collect input from them, what they need to be what need to be done in their respective places. And that will form the part of the budget of the next year. And that is why our budget has been a very citizen budget, and it is very, very transparent, and all activities in the government is done, whatever expenditure is incurred beyond the threshold of the governor is taken to the Executive Council. The Executive will deliberate, and after all the due process, everything will have to do. Anything missing out of the due process, the Executive Council will not approve. So the government is so transparent in all its activities in terms of purchase, procurement, in everything. We are so transparent, and then that is why we are. And
talking about,
we don't have anything like
Your Excellency,
we don't have anything like.
Talking about transparency and accountability, you've been criticized by the PDP for reportedly acquiring luxury vehicles for your convoy and political office holders at a time when many citizens are struggling with inflation and poverty. What do you make of this criticism?
Well, you see, that is the problem. When I came in as a governor, I didn't buy even a vehicle. What we are trying to do now is not that we are buying a luxury vehicle. What are we going to do with that luxury vehicle? What we are buying, of course, as a governor, I'm entitled to a vehicle that will be befitting of a governor's position. So that is all we are doing. We bought 2 new vehicles for the governor. We bought, again, the convoy. Some of the cars we have in the convoy were almost since 2011. They are. So, and we don't need a situation where a car will be in the governor's convoy and will be breaking down. So I don't see anything to say that we are buying a luxury bicycle. No. We are buying vehicles that are supposed to be used for the convoy to be to reflect the position of a governor. And that
Dr. Namadi, I am hoping that you can use this interview to give your people some closure where this allegation is concerned, because your critics are quoting as much as 1.8 billion naira spent on luxury cars. Precisely how much have you spent on cars?
Well, the records are there. Everybody is there to go and see. What we are, all the cars we have bought are less than 500 million naira. All the vehicles, about 385, and then plus another, I think, 15 million. So what make up of 1 billion naira now? These records are there, and everybody can see. There is nothing hidden in this transaction. All transaction undergoes through due process, and is there. The figures are there for everybody to see. So why should we buy a car for 1 billion? For what reasons?
So for clarity, you have spent 1 billion on cars, not 1.8 billion, right?
Not even 1 billion. I'm saying we are talking 385 million and we are talking of another 15 billion. So the question of 1 billion is less than 500 million, all the expenses we have incurred in buying these cars.
Are you talking about naira or dollar, Your Excellency?
Naira.
Okay, less than 500 million naira on cars. Let's move on from that. Jigawa is seen as Nigeria's food basket. You've boldly pledged that the state will produce 50% of Nigeria's rice needs by 2030. Even though we are seeing issues of land use, you talked about irrigation earlier, there is the issue of flooding, insecurity challenges. Many are concerned whether this is realistic or just political rhetoric. A particular local government is reporting heavy rains, which has now destroyed about 995 rice farms across 16 villages in a single ward this season. And farmers are saying this is a nearly annual disaster. What exact flood mitigation infrastructure has your administration built or is building to make sure these losses are not repeated every year?
Yeah, you see, alhamdulillah, like I said, you see, Jigawa has been exposed, has been flooded year in, year out. But for the last 2 years, I think we thank God the flooding we have had in Jigawa was quite minimal. And I think that has to do, one, the grace of God, and also the other thing, we have embarked in serious mitigation measures. First of all, we are dredging our river right from Dabi down to Wakachal in Yobe local government, and that has allowed the flow of the river, and also we are removing the taifa grass along the river canal, which allow also the smooth flow of the water. And we have also constructed embankment for almost about 180 kilometers. And again, what we are doing at the same time, we are trying as much as possible to create awareness for people to ensure that they have cleared the waterways, to ensure smooth, and that has really paid off. For the last 2 years, I think we don't have any serious flood in Jigawa State, and the farming activity is going on very well. And the issue of 50% of the Nigerian rice requirement, of course, is a realistic issue. It's not something that is rhetoric. When we came in 2024, we have moved the production of rice from 70 to 80,000 hectares to over 200,000 hectares. As of this year, we are doing 315,000 hectares. And if you go by this, 4 tons per hectare, it means this year we are going to do 1.2 million tons of rice. And again, by the time we bring in more land into production, by the time we expand our irrigation facilities, with the mechanization now we have introduced about 300 tractors, 60 combine harvesters, and all other implements are available to us. And also with the establishment of Agricultural Transformation Agency in the state, that will drive agricultural transformation. With all this put together, and also just Monday, we have signed an MOU with an Indian private company for seed multiplication in Jigawa State. Right. And what part of the agreement we have done is that this agreement will double our yield for farmers. So what we are saying, we are doing 4 tons per hectare today. Tomorrow, if this year even we have an average of 7 tons per hectare, and then we have improved to 500,000 hectares, then achieving 4 million tons is just realistic.
I hear you, Mr. Governor. You know, they say more than 500 houses in Mala Madori local government area are now under threat of collapse due to overflow from the Tumbulate Pond, and that it's weakening homes from stagnant water. We'd like to find out what the immediate relief is that government is offering to these families, and if there are also long-term solutions. But that will be right after this break. Stay with us, everyone. Governor Namadi, thank you for staying with us on the program. Let's turn our attention to education, because you have mentioned that you'd rather build mega schools than flyovers. But the out-of-school children problem in Jigawa is still something to deal with. How much difference will this new mega Sangaya schools really make?
Well, you see, the Sangaya school is an initiative. Already, the Sangaya school do exist in Jigawa State. We have 7 model Sangaya schools that already exist, And these models and gear schools, what we did, we have refurbished all of them. And then again, we are introducing 3 mega Sangaya school in each of the senatorial districts. The essence of this Sangaya school will now combine numeracy, literacy, Quranic education, and skill acquisition centers. So these Sangaya schools now will operate as one, they will teach numeracy and literacy, they will teach the Quranic education, and at the same time, there will be a skill acquisition center in each of the 3 mega Sangaya schools. And now, the model Sangaya school also, they will also teach the same thing. They will do also literacy and numeracy, and then they will also be able to have a skill acquisition center and the Quranic education. So it's a modernized Sangaya school that will have the objective of reducing out of school children. And all these schools, Sangaya school, have a boarding facilities. And also, in addition to the boarding facilities, they have a piece of land where they can grow the food they will eat. So again, it's also skill acquisition centers are there to train the student of vocational education that will help them to be able to be on their own after graduation. After acquiring both Western and Islamic education, they will also have some skills that will be able to use for themselves. So that's exactly what we are doing. And by this will drastically reduce the number of out-of-school children.
The Sangaya schools have historically focused on Islamic learning at the expense of modern skills. I'm happy that you're saying beyond Islamic studies that there will be skill acquisitions needed. But quickly, touch on the quality of teachers, because there are concerns about teacher motivation being at its weakest nationwide. What's your administration doing differently to ensure that Jigawa students aren't just sitting in new classrooms, but actually receiving quality skill-based education?
Well, you see, in terms of quality of teachers, I think in Jigawa State, first of all, when we came in, at least we employed almost close to 8,000 teachers at the education sector level. And this almost 8,000 teachers are people that have gone rigorous screening, and then they were employed on that basis. And again, that has helped to reduce the teacher pupils ratio in our education system. And also, because of the quality, we have now, at the secondary school level, we have introduced what we call J-Compete. That means creating opportunity, proficiency, proficiency, excellence, and technological empowerment. This is a flagship initiative, digital initiative that aims to ensure that our teachers are trained regularly on digital learning, and also it also helps. This also helps to, that all our secondary schools today are connected with the internet facilities, so that at least the all assessment and enrollment and also attendance are being monitored directly by the educational administrators. So this has helped to improve the quality of teaching and learning in our schools. Right. And this is, again, when you come to motivation, I think just last Thursday, we have done what we call the Best Teacher Award in Jigawa State. The Best Teacher Award is to encourage teachers who have performed according to the specifications, according to the rules. They are rewarded. Those, and because we have introduced what we call the reward and punishment system, stick and carrot approach, those teachers that have excelled, we have all rewarded them, and then they were happy. That has helped to encourage others to do the same. So in terms of motivation, in terms of quality, I think we have achieved a substantial progress, and these facts are there for people to see.
Well, there are conversations online. I want us to touch briefly on infrastructure. There are multiple reports and on-site observations that the Shuwarin Wuma Abaya Chamo Isari Road awarded several years ago and reportedly finished does actually have some visible defects and appears abandoned despite funds being released. Clarify for us, has this project ever been certified 100% complete by your administration?
Certainly it has not been certified 100% complete, but the progress that has been reported is not as much as what is on ground. But it has not been certified completely complete.
What is causing the delays and the defects?
No, the delay and the defect is just the problem of the contractor, actually. And because the contractor has no single certificate pending with the Jigawa state government. So we were there, I was there, I saw the contractor. After I've been there, I invited both the contractor and the consultant. And we have made the contractor to sign an undertaking. By the end of November, he will hand over that road to the Jigawa state. And I think the progress of the work now in the site, I think, is impressive. So that is what happens.
Let's address the big elephant in the room, Governor Namadi, Hisbah. Because your critics are saying that the destruction of 5.8 million naira worth of alcohol is raising concerns about religious policies in the state, right? In a multi-faith state. How do you assure non-Muslims or even Muslims with different practices that their constitutional rights will not be violated under this new law?
Well, the Hisbah is an organization, the creation of the Jigawa State Executive Council, and is there to deal with the infringement, that it is there to deal with the issues that are not in accordance with the laws and regulation of the land. And what we are saying, the Hisbah law, as it is today, as signed, it has nothing to do with anybody's infringing on somebody's right, because this law has been reviewed. All the expert and legal advisors are received, and all those stakeholders involved. There was a public hearing for the law that involves everybody was there, and everybody was given opportunity to look at the items of the law which infringe on his right or her right to comment. And that has not been there. So the Hisbah is just an organization that is the creation of the Jigawa State Executive Council to deal with issues that are not within the compartment of our culture and religious
But help me understand it clearly, Governor Namadi.
It has nothing.
Are you saying that nobody in Jigawa can consume alcohol irrespective of their religious or cultural beliefs?
No. What we are saying, the law, I think the law did not even say, okay, if the law will say, yes, consuming of alcohol is prohibited, but that does not mean that you as citizens, if you want to consume alcohol, well, the law is there. But what we are saying, we all know this is not something that we need to deceive ourselves. The question is, consumption of alcohol in public places is prohibited by the law.
Okay, you can drink it in your house, but if you drink it publicly, it is an offense.
What I'm saying is, what the law is saying, you cannot consume, you come to beer parlor, sit down and beer parlor and drink alcohol. No, that is prohibited. Certainly that is prohibited.
Irrespective of whether you are a Muslim or not, you cannot consume alcohol publicly, but you can do that within the confines of your home, right?
You cannot consume alcohol whether you are Muslim or not Muslim. You cannot consume that. The law has prohibited that.
All right.
Yes.
We have just about 2 more minutes to go. I want us to touch on the issue of repeated fuel tanker explosions, because I think one was recently recorded this month, and it's just about a year after over 200 people died in that very terrible experience last year. Beyond condolence messages, what concrete safety regulations or enforcement are you implementing to prevent further tragedies? Well,
you see, the issue of tanker explosion, yes, is an issue that we as a government, and also I think I want to also use this opportunity to thank His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because of the decisive action he has taken. So already he has given instructions that the Road and Transport Authority, should immediately find a way of controlling the issue of tanker explosion in this country. And I think that is in progress, and issues are coming. Also at our own local level, we have done as much as possible to ensure that this issue did not occur again. We have discussed with a lot of Transport Owners Association, and we have entered into so many agreements, and also they have given so many advice, professional advice, in terms of the way the tankers, the cover is done, and the way it is supposed to be done, so that even if there is accident, may God forbid, then the explosion will be very minimal. And that has also been discussed at the federal level. And I think the federal government is doing a lot to ensure that this is curtailed to the barest minimum. And like I said, the second one that has happened, you can see how prompt attention was given, and then nothing, no life was lost, and nothing happened again.
Good place to leave it, Governor Umaru Namadi of Jigawa State. We should have this conversation more often because you sound like someone who has a lot more to say. So this is an open invitation. You should just hop into our studio anytime you're in Abuja. We can even connect via Zoom from Jigawa. But thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me, and I think it has been a nice time. Thank you.
Indeed. Good place to leave it, everyone. Remember, you can watch this conversation again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.